So I wanted to talk about what I think is the best hunter build for all of Pantheon, at least for the first week. I've been rocking this in all of the Pantheon carries that I've been doing on my live stream at twitch.tv/Mactics, and I just wanted to break down every single piece of it so you can go ahead and slap this on and run it yourself whenever you decide to hop into Pantheon, either with me on my stream, people in the LFG channel, my Discord server linked in the description, or whoever you run Pantheon. So I think Solar Hunter is the best version of Hunter, especially for raiding, primarily due to Celestial Nighthawk. Golden Gun is just insanely powerful. You're hitting for max DPS numbers on most of the bosses, and it makes the DPS phases go by super easily. I also like going Gambler's Dodge, since I have the Knife Trick melee. Typically, I would go for Marksman Dodge, since it has a lower cooldown in a situation where you have a modifier like Class Warfare, where you get incoming or bonus damage output for everyone whenever someone casts their class ability. But I really like having Gamblers so that I can refund my melee, because I'm also rocking Ember of Torches so that when I do hit something with my melee, it gives Radiant to my entire fire team, which is the same damage buff that Well of Radiance provides to an entire fire team. So if you're ever in a situation where you don't have a ton of Warlocks, this can give you the same damage boost that a Well of Radiance will give to an entire fire team, which in encounters where there's like 3 plates of DPS like Caretaker and Planets, it feels really, really solid. As far as grenades go, I love Healing Grenade. I just think for the survivability, it's absolutely spectacular. I roll with On Your Mark, mainly for the 3 fragment slots, although the additional reload speed is nice, but we just run this for the 3 fragment slots because with Golden Gun, the alternative of Knock 'em Down is not particularly incredible. Now, in terms of your second slot, you can go either way with this one. You can go Gunpowder Gamble, especially if you're using a solar energy weapon, or you can go Knock 'em Down strictly for the benefit where while you're Radiant, final blows with your throwing knife will refund your melee ability in full. It's kind of up to you. It depends whether or not you want to go with a solar weapon to align with all of the seasonal mods, which is perfectly valid, or if you want to go with a void energy weapon just because we have void weapon surge. I don't know if these surges are going to change week to week, but right now at the time of recording this, it's a void surge. I personally like going with the 25% boosted weapon, just because, yeah, I could get Radiant through these seasonal mods, but I can also get Radiant through Ember of Torches. So I just kind of like rock and roll with the Void one because it's 25%. And for that reason, I just go ahead and run Knock 'em Down because I'm not getting a ton of solar kills to be able to spawn Gunpowder Gamble. So this is kind of my spread right here. As far as fragments, it doesn't matter a ton. You really want Torches, you really want Singeing, you really want Solace. The Ashes and the Empyrean, they could probably be swapped for other things if you would like. It's kind of up to you, but I would say that these 3 are really the main important ones. As far as weaponry goes, for the first encounter Garoth, and quite frankly for all 3 of the first encounters, you want at least 1 person on Tractor Cannon. Typically on Garoth, the player that's going to be doing the gaze is going to be doing Tractor Cannon, and then absolutely anyone can do Tractor Cannon for Caretaker and Planets. I like to be that person sometimes. On Golgoroth, I run it with a legendary sniper so that I can shoot his back and easily get the gaze in 1 shot. Whereas on Caretaker and Planets, where I don't really need a precision weapon, I can instead go with the Scatter Signal Fusion Rifle, from this current season, Season of the Wish. You can take a screenshot of this. This is the god roll to craft it with. It does massive damage so that when you're doing Planets and Caretaker, you can hit him with a few tractors and then beam it with the Fusion Rifle and keep up pretty well on the DPS charts with the rest of your teammates. We'll get into some of the more specifics as we get to each of the encounters, and I'm going to show alternatives for if you're not the Tractor Cannon player. I'm going to give you a spoiler. It's going to involve rockets and Izanagi's Burden, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do the DPS rotation of that, because I know some people are a little unfamiliar with it. But first, I want to talk about my mods. So since I'm using a Void weapon, I'm going Void Siphon. You would, of course, go with a Harmonic Siphon if you're using a solar weapon. Got Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout. Down here, I've got a Void Loader for my Void weapon, and then I've got Focusing Strike and Impact Induction, where whenever I deal damage with my powered melee ability, I get a cooldown to my grenade, my Healing Grenade, and a cooldown to my class ability, which is great for Class Warfare, so we get some bonus DPS for the entire fire team whenever I use that. For the first encounter Golgoroth, I run triple Void Resistance because the main damage source is Golgoroth himself, which is an Ogre Void Beam, so that's why I rock and roll with that. On the boots, I go with Void Scavenger because I am the Tractor Cannon player. Even so, if I wasn't the Tractor Cannon player, I'd probably be running a Void Linear Fusion Rifle or something of that nature, along with Izanagi's Burden, in which case I would still go Void Scavenger and Void Weapon Surge. Alternatively, if you're going with something like Whisper of the Worm for Golgoroth, you could go, obviously, Solar Surge and Solar Scavengers, or Harmonic Scavenger in this case, if you're on the Solar Hunter. Then for the class ability, Reaper, Time Dilation, and Powerful Attraction, that's going to stay the same the entire way through. Some of these are going to change minimally as we go encounter to encounter, but I'm going to show you how to put everything to perfect use in each of these encounters encounters, show you the best possible DPS rotations and all that jazz. And I'm going to show you some of the tweaks that occur throughout. The idea with this is that you're going to be able to slap this build on. Hopefully, after watching this video, you're going to be able to execute it to perfection in Pantheon to give you the highest possible chances of success. So I'm going to fly in with some individuals that hang out in my Twitch stream. As you can see, they already have the emblem. They must have watched my Pantheon guide, and it must have helped them out a little bit. Oh, Ogre teleported. Sick. Go ahead and dodge, get my melee back, low damage resistance, bonus damage output. And then I got the final blow with my melee, so that's going to give it back to me. All right, so I've got first gaze, so all of you guys can... And go ahead. So I've got his gaze right now. Other gaze player is going to go ahead and tractor him right now, since I don't really want to tractor because he'll stop me and hit me with the Axion darts. I got 8 seconds on gaze. 2, 1. Go ahead. You guys are going to drop the next bubble. And then as they're dropping the bubble, since I'm the tractor player, I'm going to run in and double tractor him. And then I'm going to run over here and pop my Nighthawk. So I can get a quick, 600k in. Got your counter for me, Ghost?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cool. Got it. You guys can shoot the back. Well. And as you guys notice right there, I tractor cannoned on my way up to the bridge to snipe his back. That's the best situation that you can have. You want to keep this guy debuffed as much as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Unstable.
1.
Great. There we go. Go ahead and take it. You guys will also notice that I dodged right next to everyone. That's to give them that class warfare buff. I don't really have any need for it, so if I can have time to go ahead and pop it right next to them, I will. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Unstable right.
So then I'm going to tractor one final time. Let's make sure we're all using our class abilities so we get the DPS buff.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
And
4,
come on, give me the one
3.
phase. Good stuff, boys. That's how you play that one to perfection. Basic, basic just tractor whenever you can as you're going back and forth. Just hop in the DPS bottle for like the first 5 to 10 seconds while the other player has just taken gaze. Use your class ability whenever you can for that class warfare buff to the rest of your team. That's how that's supposed to look right there. I'd say probably 2 solars for the Scorn guys and the Taken Vandal snipers, and then maybe 1 arc resistance mod for the Taken Scions. And then additionally, as the tractor cannon player, I don't really need the succession sniper rifle anymore, so I'm going to come over to the scatter signal with boss spec. Like I said, 2 tractors at the beginning of every plate, and then you can just absolutely let the scatter signal rip. For that reason, since it's a strand weapon, I don't really need the void weapon surge because my tractor cannon isn't what's doing all the damage. It's just debuffing the boss. So I'm going to swap to a strand weapon surge. Remember that this is already getting a 25% damage buff from the weekly modifiers because there is a strand surge just modifier for the activity, which also stacks with the strand weapon surge on my boots right here, which is going to feel fantastic because we're probably going to have a Well of Radiance at some point, get some orbs, get some armor charge stacks. You said Eyes Dark Ascendant Plane?
Yep. Smack.
Okay, if you hit Dark.
Yep.
There we go. Kind of shove these. Okay, so we have at least 3 hunters, so we're going to have all of the hunters pop their class ability before we get on the first DPS plate for class warfare. So I'm going to double tractor, pop class ability, and let's do it. So I'm just nailing in the scatter signal. I already have my 2 tractor shots on. I can throw in maybe 1 more for good measure just to make sure that he is debuffed the entire phase. We're taking it a little light. And then here, we're going to move to the next plate. Gonna hit him twice, we can hop on, and we don't want to get him to the solid part of his health bar, obviously. We're gonna keep it a little light. Cool. And then we're probably good right there. We'll put the Well of Radiance outside the final plate. All pop our class abilities, and we're just gonna go to town with Golden Guns, Nighthawks, all of our damage. And that should make it pretty easy to get him sort of around halfway. It's okay if you're a little above halfway because obviously you're not looking to take his entire health bar on both floors. You're looking to get probably 85 to 90% of HP since the remaining 15% to 10% is the final stand of his health bar. So right there is more than enough. I love some special ammo. Okay, DPS. Oh, there's one. Ooh, ooh. Okay, sometimes you just have to... Oh my god, okay. All you have to do is say, I would love some special ammo, and then 4 bricks magically appear. So go ahead, pop your class abilities, and go ahead. And right, nicely done. 2 tractors. We'll have him debuff the entire phase. Okay, we do want to play a little slow with this because I do want the entirety of the 3rd plate. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're gonna line him up a good amount, but all right, and get ready. Pop the class abilities. Pop the well, and absolutely eviscerate him. I'm gonna pop my Nighthawk. Just never mind. We phased him before I even got my Nighthawk. Just like that, you kill him in 2 floors. You don't even have to do the 3rd floor. That's how strong this build is. If you're not on the tractor cannon, you're probably gonna be going Izanagi's Burden with a rocket, which I will show you how that rotation looks and how you want to play that in the next encounter, because I'm gonna have someone else do tractor cannon. But even though I'm showcasing that on planets, you'll do the exact same thing for Caretaker. Class abilities, hop on the plate. As the tractor cannon player, I'm not going to bother hanging out on the plate. I'm just going to run up and tractor him, because even though I hit for immune, it still debuffs him. There's not really a reason for me to be back on the plate. He's debuffed. Easy kill, 2 floor. All right, so now that we're at planets, like I said, I'm going to showcase what you'd be running if you're not the tractor cannon individual. So I'm going to be going with a Void or Strand rocket. I've got this Braytech Osprey that I got from doing GMs. However, the craftable semi-otician Strand rocket launcher, which will also benefit from the 25% weapon damage buff from the surges, would also be fantastic here. So if you have that pattern, I believe you can also get Envious and Bipod on that, or maybe it's Field Prep Bipod. Also going to be a great pick. As far as the primary slot, we're going to go with Izanagi's Burden. Again, I know a lot of people might not know or might not be comfortable with the rotation of like reload canceling and stuff like that. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it here. Subclass is staying the same. Only thing we're changing up is we're going back to our Void Weapon Surge for our rocket. We're going to keep our Void Scavenger on. And then for this particular encounter, it's pretty much all solar damage that you need to be concerned about. So we're going to make sure that we're on triple solar resistances. You could, of course, go harmonic resistances if you want, since you're on Solar Hunter. All right, I'm going to dunk in 5. A huge tip I want to give, by the way, for planets, especially for the people that maybe are not as experienced with this raid. If you're on the top planet section, running through this section of the arena is typically not a great idea. In some circumstances, it can be a good idea depending on where the boss is, but 99% of the time, you want to do what I did, where you're basically cutting through the front of the arena. You have more than enough time, and it's just always way safer to take that direction instead. Let's get our well down. Let's get our initial well down. DPS is going to go right, then middle, then left. Okay, so for DPS here, obviously, make sure you have the Izanagi's Burden loaded pre-DPS phase. I'm just going to unload all my rockets, try and get an Izzy shot in on the backpack, reload Izzy, reload the rocket, and then we're going to the middle plate. And then once again, I'm going to start out 2 rockets, get the Izzy shot off. Take your time with it. It's really important that you land it, and then we can start reloading. And then for final plate, this will be our supers plate. So we're going to do double rocket, get the Izzy, pop golden gun, and hit the golden gun. And that is insane damage right there. And I'm going to try, okay, so like I said, probably going to be a little faster. Izanagi's Burden. The second that you, like, put the clip into the magazine, that's when you go ahead and swap to your rocket and start getting some rockets off. I missed my second Izanagi shot, unfortunately, but you get the idea. Double rocket, and then we'd get the other Izanagi shot off. That's probably the most damage you can get out of it. But if you're a little less experienced, I don't think it's any problem to just do the Izzy shot and then unload all your rockets. Because I mean, you guys saw his HP after the first DPS phase. I mean, it's more than enough to absolutely cook the boss. So, you know, don't try to rush yourself at the cost of your aim. Easy 2-phase. You have to be a ridiculously good team and ridiculously precise with your DPS combos to get a 1-phase. I've never consistently even gotten a 1-phase, even for as much as I play this game. So 2-phase, nothing wrong with that. So heading into the final boss, Atraks, this is where things change significantly. So much so to the point that I literally have a separate loadout setup. Most of the mods are staying the same. Class item is staying the same. Gloves are staying the same. Helmet is staying the same. What's changing is we now have triple arc resistance on the chest piece, because there is pretty much exclusively arc damage in here. The Atraks bolts are arc, and there's a ton of arc Vandal snipers and Shank snipers. Down on the boots, we have triple solar weapon surge. And the reason for that is because we are rocking and rolling with Parasite. Parasite is your best chance of getting a 1-floor kill on Atraks, so you can literally ignore every single mechanic. And the reason for that is because when you get kills with other weapons, you get a stacking buff for your next Parasite shot. So you're literally just never using the Parasite weapon the entire time until you're ready to fire the first bullet on the first DPS phase of Atraks, because you're going to have 20 stacks of Worm's Hunger from killing regular adds with your other weapons, and it's just going to do a ludicrous amount of damage. As far as the rest of the loadout goes, keep it with the Funnel Web, because that 25% bonus from Void Weapon Surge on the activity, and the Pardon Dust Grenade Launcher, specifically because it's got disorienting grenades, bonus points if you have auto loading. Now, you'll notice our exotic has changed as well. We are no longer using Celestial Nighthawk, and we have swapped over to Star Eater Scales. That is because for Atraks, we're going with Blade Barrage and Knock 'em Down as opposed to Golden Gun. The reason we're doing this is because the perfect combo for Atraks that fits precisely within the time period that you're allowed to damage a particular clone is shooting the Parasite and then immediately casting the Blade Barrage. The reason you don't want to go with Golden Gun is because the cast animation plus the time it takes to shoot the Golden Gun takes too long to fit inside that period of being able to damage Atraks after you shoot the Parasite, whereas Blade Barrage is quick enough to register the damage before the Atraks clone is no longer damageable. So that's why we go with Blade Barrage on a Hunter. You're going to see exactly how I do it when we get to that DPS phase. Can we have the Warlock actually stick on Well of Radiance? Reason being is we should all be running triple solar weapon surges for our parasites, and I want to be able to plop down a well of radiance strictly for the orbs right before we start our damage, because it's going to stack with that class warfare buff, and it's going to stack with radiant buff / the well of radiance DPS buff as well. Furthermore, while you're doing this, you want to be using your class ability a lot during the ad clear period just to proc mods like Reaper, because you really want to get at least 4 orbs of power so that you can get 4 stacks of Feast of Light to go into your Star Eater scales. So I already have 2 because I've already picked up a good amount of orbs. I've also got that Void Siphon, so that if I get a double kill with my Funnel Web, I'll also get an orb. There, I'm at ×3 right there. Really important to make sure you get all 4 stacks. It's going to increase your damage significantly. We can go a couple more guys. Boom. There's my Feast of Light ×4. I'm also going to pull out my Parasite to take a look. Now, I have too many buffs to be able to see how many Parasite stacks I have, which is a problem of the Destiny UI. But once some of them go away, we'll start to see. I have Worm's Hunger ×15, so I know I need 5 more stacks of Worm's Hunger. You'll also notice that higher tier enemies give more stacks. So if I run over here and kill an orange bar enemy, for example, that's probably an orange bar right there, I get 5 stacks just like that. If we don't one phase, whoever the scanner is, plus 3 other players, you guys can immediately turn around and book it to the elevators, come back to Europa, and try and finish off the final clone by switching to Lament. Wait, where is everyone?
We were not all up.
Oh, it is right side. Pop our class abilities. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm out of here. In the elevators, switch into Lament on the way down. 3, 2, 1, go. Do me a favor, pick up the orb. All back to the elevators. Everyone should have Lament on. This is winnable if we all have Lament. Bottom, middle. 3, 2, 1, go. Back downstairs. You can just take the elevator back up, honestly.
Lamont. Alright. Draw.
Oh my god. That was so messy, but proof that it works. It is in the back bottom. Pop your class abilities. 3, 2, 1, go. Easy. Yeah, so that was a little scuffed. I also want to note that if you're going for the Parasite Super Burst method, the health bar can be a little finicky. The Atraks health bar is one of the most notoriously glitchy things in the entire game. Because fun fact for those who don't know, the Atraks HP bar is tied to some random captain that's like 5 miles out of bounds. And so for that reason, fun fact, you actually can't weaken Atraks. Like if you try to throw a smoke grenade on it or you tether it, weaken doesn't work on Atraks because the actual Atraks clone that you're hitting, that's not what you're like DPSing, if that makes sense. You're DPSing some captain in Timbuktu. The health bar can just be super buggy. Sometimes you can do everything absolutely perfect and you get 50% of the HP as opposed to getting the final stand. In my opinion, best build that you can possibly run for this particular wing of Pantheon. Hope it helps. Subscribe if it did. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.